Okay, ignore the bad lighting if you are watching this as a video. I am in a hotel room speaking at a conference. So I am not in my normal or usual setup, but again, doing the thing that is all that matters. So I was on a call with Hartford Funds, and during the call, they shared the results of a study that they had done recently. And the results of this study were that 85% of clients thought about switching advisors in the last 12 months. So it's very easy for us to just kind of jump to assuming that we are in that 15%, right? We are those advisors that our clients aren't thinking about leaving us, but we want to be open to the idea that it is very possible that our clients might be wondering, is the grass greener on the other side? And we talk a lot here at the Efficient Advisor about lots of different things, including, right? Are we having an impact on our clients, right? What are we actually doing for our clients? And I want you to think about a couple of things. So this study kind of took me back this morning, and we want to think about a few things here. Number one, we want to think about the impact that we're having on our clients. Are we doing things that actually matter to our ideal client avatar? So while I'm here at the conference, I was just having some live calls with our group coaching advisors, and we were having this discussion about the things that are on our client service model, do they all make a big impact? Or are we doing things that are time consuming or that are vanity metrics for ourselves, things that we think are massive value adds? One of the examples that came up today was the advisor was sharing that she spends about 3 to 5 hours each month writing these newsletters, like these amazing newsletters with market recaps and all of this information. And based on kind of the content of the program, right, she started really getting honest with herself and asking, like, how impactful is this? Is this the best and highest use of 3 to 5 hours of my time? Or could I be doing something that would have more impact on my clients in that same window? And so one of the things that we went back to and said, well, go back and check your open rates, right? What percentage of your clients are opening the newsletter? Are you able to see with tracking software how much time they're spending inside of that newsletter? If you have videos in there, like embedded in the email or embedded in the newsletter, are they watching them? Are they watching them to fruition? What types of content gets more watches versus less watches? And ultimately, she added it up and was like, wow, I'm spending 50 to 60 hours at max a year building out these newsletters. She's like, that is literally 2 weeks of my work time in a year. Like, what could I do in 2 weeks' time that would be more impactful for my clients? So, number one, we need to be looking at our client experience through the lens of what actually matters to our ideal client avatars. Do they care? Does this thing that we're spending time on actually move them forward? And you can find a different podcast episode I did on impact score. It's one of the four kind of unconventional KPIs that I like to track in my own practice. And I suggest advisors use in their own business to try to make sure year over year that we're being really critical of ourselves as to, is this thing that we're doing actually adding impact to our clients? So, for my own business, one of the things that I found that I came across was we were updating in our business, we used Money Guide Pro. We were updating Money Guide Pro for our clients every single year. And it was a heavy lift. It was a heavy lift getting information from our clients. It was a heavy lift getting everything input, running analytics, doing all of this research and prep and execution and putting together kind of proposals. And what we realized is that unless somebody died, got married, had a baby, got divorced, or switched jobs, there wasn't really enough changing year over year to make the impact equal to the difficulty, right? Like I found we were just sitting there showing clients, like, hey, your net worth went up, your assets went up, your liabilities went down, like your probability of success is still pretty much the same as it was the last time you were in here, right? Not a lot has changed. So instead of doing a Money Guide Pro update every single year, plus not to mention, there was a lot of friction for our clients. They had to get us all that information every single year. We shifted to doing Money Guide Pro updates every other year for our clients. And in the off year, ended up doing something more impactful for them, using that time, energy, money, redeploying all of that effort into something that actually mattered to that client. We don't have time to get into that today, but you actually really objectively look at the impact that you're having on your clients and redeploy the energy to something that's more impactful, right? Like look at your agenda that you use for your next upcoming meeting. Is there a lot of fluff in there? Is there a lot of small talk? Are we doing something over and over again? Like, is your client going to leave going, wow, I'm so glad I showed up to that meeting today, whether it was virtually or in person? I used to say, if a client's going to put on real pants with a button and drive all the way to my office, I better make it worth their while. And I remember that specific moment where I realized, like, man, these Money Guide Pro updates, like, it's a lot of work. And I don't know that it's having the impact on our clients that we have. So, number one, like, are we actually using our energy to deliver impact or value to the clients? Number two, we want to be thinking about what our client experiences. So if 85% of our clients, and we're assuming that yes, they're yours too, are thinking about leaving, what is part of that problem? Like what would be in their minds that would make them want to leave? So the second thing that I can think of is what is that client experience like? What are they thinking and feeling coming into working with you? What do we want them to be thinking and feeling? And then using your process to move them over that invisible bridge. So in our group coaching program, like I'll give you an example when we talk about the first 100 days, right? Most clients are super excited to work with you, but they're also nervous. They have a lot of trepidation. Maybe their previous advisor might plant some seeds of doubt in their head. They're going to have that immediate buyer's remorse kind of action of, am I making the right decision? And if our process doesn't move them across that invisible bridge, right? Like if we don't move them from the oh man, I hope I made the right call to, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did this, right? And that's the whole point of the first 100 days course is how do we actually use that first 100 days to not only make our clients feel good and move them across the bridge to where we want them to be, but to make the experience for them so freaking fantastic that they start referring people right away or that the lifetime value of the customer goes up because the longevity of the relationship goes up. And that's not just based on my previous experience and what I've seen other advisors experience, it's also based on science. There's a lot of research that shows what our clients think, feel, and experience within that first 100 days has a direct impact on the longevity of the relationship, on the lifetime value of the relationship, and on the number of referrals. So you can go back to July of 2025. I did a whole series of podcasts on the first 100 days if you want to go deeper. You can also check out the first 100 days course online where I have laid it all out for you step by step with all the tools, templates, checklists, resources, etc. But we want to make sure as we think about this 85% number that we are moving our clients across this bridge, right? That we are using every single opportunity that we have, every connection, every point of contact to deepen the client relationship. We want to make sure we are connecting with our clients. Yes, that we're getting the paperwork done for them. Yes, that we're doing the distributions like we said we would. But we also want to be deepening the human to human connection. And all of your processes should be designed around how do we actually make the user experience better? And I know I've given you the example in the past of Uber versus a taxi, right? But we want to start thinking about our practice like an Uber. How do we go through all of the pain points, all of the friction points of our business and smooth them out to make the user experience easier? The third thing that kind of came into mind quickly when I heard that Hartford study results was that, okay, so number one is we need to think about the impact that we're having on our clients, right? Number two is we need to think about the user experience, what that client experience feels like. We need to use our process to move them across that invisible bridge. And number three, we have to consistently deliver value to clients year after year. You have to have a plan to strategically deliver the impact that we talked about in number one. And so increasing that impact score, increasing, redeploying our energy and effort into things that actually matter. But we need to stay on top of things. We need to be that good advisor. We cannot let our clients be sitting there thinking, oh, my advisor doesn't do that for me, right? They're out at dinner with their friends. They maybe go to a chicken dinner, annuity thing or whatever. We don't want our clients sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, my advisor doesn't do that for me. Or I don't know if my advisor even knows these things. I don't know if my advisor is on top of stuff like that. And so it's important for you to re-onboard your clients periodically and let them know who you work with, where you're doing your best work, who your ideal client is now, what working with you looks like. What is this array of offerings that you have, the products and services that you do for them, some of the things, because I remember running into this trap in my own business. I remember early on when clients were like, "Hey, we trust you. We don't think we need to meet with you every year." It was like, awesome. That just saved me so much time. But what I realized pretty quickly was that them just saying, "Hey, we trust you," and not coming in for a meeting didn't give me the opportunity to go deeper with them. I wasn't doing the best planning for them because I didn't know what was going on in their life, right? So we had to start setting the expectation with our clients that, like, "Hey, while we appreciate your trust, we need you to come in for meetings twice a year. Like, here's our expectation because we need to be continuously doing an amazing job for you. So we need to be contacting you with meaningful, impactful meetings. We need to be doing that strategic planning for you. We need to make sure you know what we are capable of and what we are planning. Like, we are strategically planning for our business in addition to just managing your investments, right? Like, we are working in themes, or you've heard me talk about lots of other things, but doing value adds, like things that continuously bring value to your clients. So that 85% number is a pretty big deal. And so if you are in this place in your business where you're like, "Libby, everything's great, right? Like nobody's really leaving. I don't really have any problems, but like, man, I probably do need to do this gut check that just because no one's leaving and just because I don't have any problems doesn't mean that they might not be thinking about it and they might be searching elsewhere." So the good news is on the flip side of that, other advisors' clients might be meeting you and looking to see if you are the grass that is greener on the other side of the fence. So you have to have a buttoned up process that is focused on delivering impact, right? Delivering value, that you've got a way to move clients from what they're coming in thinking. So in this scenario, they're thinking, "Am I with the right advisor? Can they do all of the things that I need them to do? What else is available to me that I didn't even know that I needed or was an option because my current advisor either didn't tell me about it or didn't do it?" And then your process needs to be designed to move them from prospect to client, right? And so that's all of the things that I've been thinking about when I read that study. So if you haven't carved out time to work on your business recently, let this be your sign. Let this be that uncomfortable moment where you're like, "Hey, just because things are working doesn't mean we're thriving. It doesn't mean they're optimal. It doesn't mean we are elevating our experience for our clients." So, would love for you to set a CEO day, to actually walk through processes, to start looking for friction points, to do that math, right? Calculate that impact score. And I will link the podcast about that topic in the show notes. But go back and look at that unconventional KPI of how much impact am I actually delivering to our clients? Like, what actually matters to them? And can we redeploy all this time and energy that we're spending on things that maybe feel really good or feel really productive, but at the end of the day, don't actually move the needle? And can't, I mean, in the example that I gave of the advisor who realized she was spending 50 hours a year on it, like, I'd rather take the week off and go to Hawaii, right? Like that would be more productive to give me margin and space than to spend a bunch of time doing something that our clients don't necessarily care about or appreciate. So think about the impact that you're adding. Think about your process and how it's designed to actually deepen the relationship. Look for the opportunity to reduce those friction points. And this is not meant to scare you or to say your clients are leaving. Like, nope, no fear tactics here. That's not my brand. But really to encourage you to carve out that time to work on your business so that when your clients do bump into another advisor or do have that conversation with their friends, that they can feel so secure in the advice that you deliver, so secure in the relationship that they have with you, that they actually are telling their friends to switch advisors and come work with you. Hopefully, this was a call to action. So if you haven't already, schedule your next CEO day.